Should you do calisthenics or weights? Now, this question has been answered like a lot of times on the internet already, like probably more than anyone could watch in their life. It's been answered a ton of times already. I think I have a pretty good point of view of where I'm talking about when I bring up this conversation. Should you do calisthenics or weights? So I'm just going to offer my insights. So this video was actually inspired by a criticism of my video on 4 reasons why calisthenics is better than weightlifting. So one of the comments was like this guy broke down like each category of like what you want to achieve in fitness, and he broke down like what is calisthenics good for. So inspired from that, I'm gonna make this video on who should consider calisthenics, who should consider weights. So first of all, I'm going to launch into the limitations of calisthenics. Is that in frame? It is now. So limits of calisthenics. Number one is, that's the main one. Number one is legs. Legs are clearly the biggest, fattest, obesest limitation of calisthenics. And that's because once you're doing weighted pistol squats, you can't really do anything for legs. Like, you're never going to get the same burn of doing like 600-pound squats by doing like pistol squats in calisthenics. Like, it's never going to happen. Calisthenics are so inferior to weightlifting for legs if you are intermediate or advanced. If you're a beginner, you will not notice a difference in how strong your legs are with calisthenics. But if you've been training your legs like very hard for 2 years at least, you will definitely appreciate going up to barbells. So for beginners, you probably won't notice a difference. Beginners, it's fine if you use legs or if you training legs with calisthenics. But intermediate or advanced trainers, you definitely need a barbell. You definitely need some weights. You need to do some big, heavy, fat squats and deadlifts to get your legs chunky and beefy. And also for like sporting performance as well. Like, I was doing pistol squats in my football season, like before, like on off days, right? And I noticed that my legs, they felt like good, but I never felt like I had tree trunks like strapped onto like my shorts. So I never felt like my legs were at their potential when I was doing just pistol squats and calisthenics. But you can still get like a very good like not burn. You still get very good gains out of just doing pistol squats. So even for these people, there's literally no reason not to do calisthenics if you're concerned about legs. For these people, I would say it's like 85% as good. 85% as good is not a bad sacrifice for all the positives of calisthenics, like the time, the money, the relatability of content creators, the progression, how it favors people that are on a cut. So for those people, you will not notice that big of a difference with training your legs with calisthenics. But you're never going to have those like bodybuilder, powerlifter style mass on your legs if you do calisthenics leg training. You can still have strong legs like compared to the average person, but you don't want to be compared to the average person. You don't want to be compared to the average person. You want to be compared with like very fit people, and you're not going to be in a competition with like the top 0.01% of people with leg strength if you do calisthenics. I reckon that you can still get up to like a 225 squat if you're just doing calisthenics. Like, I could squat 225 just from like training pistol squats for a bit. And this was back like a year ago. So I could hit 225 with just pistol squats. So your legs are not going to be like twigs. You're not going to have terrible legs if you just train them often with calisthenics. Like, you can do stuff like Nordic curls. You can do stuff like the one where you're on your like the quad extensions, the bodyweight quad extensions. Obviously, I talked about pistol squats, split squats, plyometrics. All these things mean that these people will not notice the difference, and these people probably won't notice that big of a difference. But these people definitely need heavy squats and heavy deadlifts. So that's the main limitation of calisthenics, which is legs. Number two is, this is something that is not really talked about a lot, but I really enjoyed the social aspect of gyms. Why is my handwriting like dyslexic kids when I'm on video? So social aspect. For gyms, you meet up with the same people, you work out with the same people, you progress with the same people, you compete with the same people. It's very wonderful. But in calisthenics, if you don't have the mentality to do good when no one's watching you and you're not competing with anyone, then it's pretty hard to do good. you can like circumvent this by having like online groups, online support communities for calisthenics. But it's very hard to like replicate the feeling of you're in the gym, you see a guy next to you like benching a certain weight or lifting a certain weight, and you want to do like 1 kilo more than him. You're never gonna have that in calisthenics, unless obviously you join like an online group or something, or you post your stuff online, like I'm trying to do now. But yeah, calisthenics, there's not that much competition compared to weightlifting, where you're constantly driven to do better because there's always going to be someone stronger than you in the gym. And if there isn't, then you just move gyms, you know what I mean? Go to like a powerlifting gym. But that's another limitation of calisthenics, the social aspect. Number three is calisthenics is not going to work out if you want to be a powerlifter. This is like a very obvious point, but calisthenics is good at making you good at calisthenics. Training weights is making you good at lifting weights. There's a bit of crossover, but it's nothing crazy. I feel like if you're a calisthenics person who does like good weighted calisthenics and he moves to barbell training, you're better going from calisthenics to barbell than you are barbell to calisthenics. So I think a calisthenics person is more well-rounded in that sense. But if you purely just want to get your big three up, like there's no reason not to just train your big three like a lot. So calisthenics, you're not going to be good at powerlifting. Actually, I take that back. Calisthenics, you'll be better at powerlifting than everyone except for serious powerlifters if you train calisthenics seriously. If you train your weighted push-ups, if you can do a planche push-up, then there's no reason why you can't bench at least like 1.75 times your body weight. There's no reason why you can't do that. If you train your technique for like 2 or 3 weeks, there's no reason why you can't do that. Coming from powerlifting. Like when I started out benching, like I could hit like a 1.5 times body weight bench just from being able to do like sets of one hand push-ups. Like calisthenics, people underestimate like how good calisthenics make you at like normal weightlifting. But if you want to progress past that point, like obviously you need to do the thing to make you better at this thing. You need to do the big three lifts. So calisthenics is limited in making better at powerlifting. So those are the important limitations. The thing is that the ideal split would be calisthenics, weighted calisthenics for upper body, and then barbell training for lower body mixed in with some like plyometric and like speed work. But I'm just trying to say that in an ideal world, I would have a mix of both. But if you're not in an ideal world and you're forced to do strictly calisthenics, there's no reason why you can't make very, very, very good progress. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers before the start of October. So you can help me out by just subscribing. So yeah, thanks for watching.